U.S. immigration agent fatally shoots woman in Minneapolis. Officials clash over circumstances. Minneapolis, January 7, 2026, a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) officer shot and killed a 37-year-old woman in South Minneapolis on Wednesday morning during a large federal immigration enforcement operation, triggering public outrage, protests and sharp disagreement between local and federal officials over what happened. The woman, identified in local reporting as Renee Nicole Good, a U.S. citizen and mother of 3, was inside her SUV on Portland Avenue between East 33rd and 34th Streets when the shooting occurred. Good had recently moved to the Minneapolis-St. Paul area with her partner and family, and her relatives described her as a compassionate and loving mother. Conflicting accounts of the shooting. Federal authorities say the ICE officer fired because he believed Good's vehicle was being used as a weapon against law enforcement. Department of Homeland Security (DHS) spokeswoman Tricia McLaughlin stated that agents were confronted by what she described as violent protesters, claiming the woman had weaponized her vehicle and attempted to run them down. According to this account, the agent fired in what DHS characterized as defensive shots to protect himself and others. However, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey and other local leaders strongly reject the federal narrative. Frey has publicly called the government's version a garbage narrative and disputed claims of self-defense, saying video he reviewed does not support the allegation that Good presented a clear threat to officers. He demanded that ICE withdraw its agents from the city, accusing the federal operation of sowing chaos and undermining public safety. Eyewitness and video accounts. Bystander videos circulating on social media show an SUV stopped across the road as federal agents approached. According to multiple eyewitness descriptions, one ICE officer can be seen trying to open the driver's door. When the vehicle began to move, a second officer fired several shots at close range into the SUV before it sped off and crashed into parked vehicles. It remains unclear whether the vehicle made contact with the officer. Local police and fire crews responded to the scene and found Good with life-threatening gunshot wounds. She was transported to Hennepin County Medical Center where she was later pronounced dead. Political and community response. The shooting rapidly became a flashpoint in ongoing tensions over the Trump administration's immigration enforcement policies. President Donald Trump's administration and Vice President J.D. Vance publicly backed ICE's actions and framed the shooting as justified. In contrast, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz condemned the incident as totally avoidable and signaled preparedness to deploy the National Guard amid widespread outrage. Residents and activists took to the streets following the incident, with thousands joining protests that included chants like "ICE out of Minneapolis" and calls for accountability from federal authorities. Vigils were held in Good's memory, with mourners highlighting her role as a mother, poet, and neighbor not known to have been involved in violent confrontations. Broader context and ongoing investigation. The fatal shooting took place against the backdrop of an aggressive immigration crackdown led by the Trump administration, which has deployed thousands of federal officers to U.S. cities in recent months. Critics argue that such operations risk escalating conflicts with local communities, while supporters assert they are a necessary component of national border enforcement. The FBI, Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, and local authorities have launched joint investigations into the incident. Questions remain about the precise circumstances leading to the use of deadly force, whether proper protocols were followed, and how future enforcement actions will be conducted.